Hello, viewers and subscribers. Welcome back to Red Button Journal. Today, I wanted to kind of reflect a little bit on Father's Day and talk about the fathers in our lives, what they mean to us. I wanted to just tell a few stories about my father. I lost my father about a little over 10 years ago, so actually nearly 11 now. So I don't want this to be a sad video. I want this to be a happy video. So I just want to tell you a few of the things about my dad. You know, one day when I was a kid, I was not a good kid. I made life tough for my father. One day, for whatever reason, I decided to take my BB gun and shoot out every last window on Miss Glancy's garage. And there were plenty of windows. Well, she came knocking on the door that evening when my dad was home from work. And she told my dad what happened and demanded that my dad lick me up good. Well, my dad said he'd take care of it, not to worry herself. My dad never said a thing to me. He fixed every one of those windows himself. Now, I don't know why he did that, and I never asked him, but I suppose I should have. But he never got after me for that. I played American football. I was pretty good. I'm a big man. I was a big young man too, and I was tough. My dad, he never missed a game. Whether we were playing in our hometown or whether we were playing away, he never missed a single game. And I could always hear him when I was out on the field and I'd make a big tackle or something like that. I'd hear him. He'd be, "Go, Tom, Tom, yeah, yeah." And sometimes he'd go, "Roar, roar, roar, Tom." And you probably say, well, why would he roar? Well, for one thing, our team mascot were the Lions, and so he was doing that. But here's the other thing. He always called me Tiger Tom. He didn't just call me Tom. He called me Tiger Tom. Oh, I was proud of that. The reason he called me Tiger Tom is because when I was still in the crib, I couldn't even walk yet. They couldn't keep me in the crib. As soon as they'd shut the door, I'd crawl out of the crib, crawl over the bars, onto the floor, and away I'd go. Now, I don't remember any of that. All I remember is my dad always called me fondly Tiger Tom. And when I'd play American football, and I'd be out there and I'd make a big tackle or a big block, I could hear him in the stands. "Roar, roar, go, Tom, Tiger Tom." Nothing like the encouragement of a father. I'll tell you that right now. The fact is, my dad taught me how to drive. Oh, I could remember the driving lesson. It's an old GMC pickup truck, 1940-something. Well, it had a little problem. When I was driving, the throttle stuck, and it caused it to spin out, and I went in the ditch. So here I am on the first driving lesson from my father, and I drove in the ditch. But my father, he didn't cuss me or nothing. And there I was. I drove the truck into the ditch. We had to go down the road and find a farmer to get his tractor to pull me out. That was my dad. Well, let's see. What other stories could I tell about my dad? Oh, I know what it was. The year I was maybe a junior or a senior in high school, we were having a big awards ceremony coming up. And I had heard through the grapevine that I was about to win a couple of big prestigious awards, one in physics, and I think the other was in music. And so I was pretty excited about it. And so when my dad was home at lunchtime, I found out he was not going to be able to make it to the awards. He had to work. So I asked him if he could make it. And when I was walking back from getting my physics award, I looked up in the stands in the auditorium, and there sat my father in his work clothes. He had made it in time to see me get my award. Things like that are the things that fathers do. And every one of you that's a father, I hope you've done those same sort of things, and you've made those same sacrifices for your children. I know I made plenty of sacrifices for my children. I worked long, hard hours, but that's what you do for children. You want to make sure they got food on the table, shoes on their feet, and clothes on their back, and a roof over their head. It's not always easy, and sometimes you'd fail, but you never stop trying, and that's what being a father is all about. My father taught me a good work ethic. My father was a business owner. He owned the local hardware store. And so, I don't know if you all have watched American Pie or Happy Days or any of those kind of shows, but one of the characters, the Richie Cunningham character, his father ran the hardware store. And so Mr. Cunningham was a hardware man. So I used to always tell people, well, I don't know about you, but I grew up the same as Richie Cunningham in Happy Days, because my dad was a hardware man. When I grew up, it was a lot like that. My dad was a lot like Mr. Cunningham. So I miss my dad, I'll be honest with you. And any of you who have lost your fathers, I'm sure you do too. So just know they're looking down on us today, on this Father's Day. And for all you that still have your father, give him a special hug and thank him. And find out why they never whooped you up good for breaking Miss Glancy's windows out on her garage. Do that for me. Ask your dad why he did what he did. Your dad loves you, and everything he's doing for you is for your own good, and don't you ever forget it. So anyway, I got probably more serious than I wanted to, but bless up y'all. Happy Father's Day. Be sure and like, share, comment, subscribe to Red Button Journal, and big up yourself. Happy Father's Day.